Greetings to everyone out there in the NoDQ galaxy. Welcome to NoDQ Live here on NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel, youtube.com/AaronRift Let's talk about the go-home edition of Monday Night Raw prior to this Sunday's WWE TLC pay-per-view. The big question was, did this Raw have any improvement from the last few weeks? The answer is yeah, but not a lot. This Raw definitely reeked of desperation for the first time in a while. It really felt like WWE hit the panic button and tried to come up with a show that would be more compelling, something to get people more invested, tuning back in. But was it just some kind of momentum that builds? I'm not sure. I'm not getting my hopes up. I feel like this week's Raw was putting a Band-Aid on a gigantic wound. I mean, this is not going to be an easy fix. Let's go ahead and get started with the Raw review. We had the show open up with Seth Rollins in the ring with his music, and the Burn It Down vocal was being repeated over and over again. I thought that was a little bit annoying. We had Rollins basically call out Baron Corbin. He said that he's been preoccupied with Dean Ambrose, but he had something to say to Corbin. Corbin came out, and this is where things started to get interesting right off the bat. Seth Rollins basically did a worked shoot promo where he essentially said that since Baron Corbin has become the general manager, Raw has sucked. He flat out said that Raw has sucked in the past several weeks. Very interesting. There was a promotion back in the day called World Championship Wrestling, WCW. And around 1999, 2000, we saw segments like this where the wrestlers would come out and talk about how bad the show is and they want to turn things around. This was very common in WCW. In fact, this Seth Rollins promo towards Baron Corbin reminded me of Hulk Hogan coming out there, Bash at the Beach, laying down for Jeff Jarrett, and then getting on the mic and saying, "This is why the company's in the damn shape it's in, because of bullshit like this." This was pretty much the same type of promo from Seth Rollins. He brought up the urination. He brought up how the Revival are great wrestlers, but they're being misused and they're being put into these stupid Lucha House Party matches. By the way, none of that tonight, so I guess that's a positive. Daniel with the $2 super chat time. He says, "Thank you for always making my night." Well, I appreciate that, Daniel. Thank you very much for the super chat. And Ken says, "Daniel, I am with you." So thank you for that, guys. But yeah, Rollins brought up all the things basically that the fans have been complaining about over the last several weeks. He also brought up Brock Lesnar and how Lesnar doesn't defend the title, and Lesnar actually hasn't wrestled on Raw since 2002, and of course that's 16 years since the last time Brock Lesnar has competed on Raw. I believe that's an accurate stat. I don't remember the last time we saw Lesnar compete on Raw, probably before he jumped ship in 2002 to SmackDown. Well, thank you for that comment, Ken. I really do appreciate it. So Corbin said that he is going to defeat Braun Strowman by forfeit at the pay-per-view. So this is something WWE was teasing during the broadcast, that Strowman's not even going to show up. So I guess that's the hook right now. Caleb with a $2.15 super chat donation. Awesome CM Punk type promo from Seth Rollins. It was interesting. I will give it that much. Was it quality television writing? That I would not go as far to say. But at least it was doing something a little bit different from the norm. Tony H with a $5 super chat donation says, Rollins was speaking the truth, but sad that an average Raw is accepted by the marks. Only people you cannot critique liking this show is kids. Well, thank you for that, Tony H. And that's a very valid point you just made, not only about Rollins speaking the truth, but also that even an average Raw now is considered acceptable. I mean, that's how low the bar has gone. And just real quick, just to kill the rumors in the chat room, I have not gotten married again. However, that may happen sooner than later, so we will see. Anyways, moving on here. Let's get back to wrestling talk. I just had to clear that up because everyone in the chat room is going crazy. So I don't want gossip to spread around and whatnot. So Corbin said he was going to put Seth Rollins through hell, and Rollins responded with, well, why not do it tonight? And Rollins basically challenged Corbin to a TLC match, in which Corbin said no, but then Rollins started calling him a coward and kept saying it over and over and over again. Until finally, we had Corbin accept the match. However, Corbin said the IC title would be on the line. Backstage, Seth Rollins was interviewed and said he's sick and tired of Corbin, feels he needs to stand up for the rest of the locker room. John is like the typical WWE coward talk. Yeah, pretty much. And he just said he was going to stand up to Corbin and be the locker room leader. So Rollins basically being the top babyface at this point. So next up we had the AOPP teaming up with their manager, Drake Maverick, against Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. There was a little cool moment where we had Drake be tossed over the top by Roode and Gable onto AOP. That was really cool. AOP basically destroyed Roode and Gable, did the power bomb move, whatever it's called. I'm not even sure what it's called off the top of my head. The super devastation or whatever it's called. I'm sure I'll get like a million comments in the chat room correcting me as the name of the move. But we had AOP basically having the match won. Super Collider. Thank you for that. Just a stupid name, stupid move. Yeah. They had the match won, and then Drake Maverick wanted to be tagged in. He wanted to actually pin Bobby Roode to get back at them making fun of him. So Drake Maverick tagged in, and then he got rolled up by Bobby Roode, and we have new tag team champions. The titles were on the line in this 2-on-3 handicap match. So there you go. AOPP no longer the tag team champions. And Daryl Lloyd with a $7 super chat time. Thank you for that, Daryl. Corbin sounds like Vince saying screw the crowd through Corbin. I would agree on that. It did come off like Vince writing Baron Corbin's lines. Baron Corbin saying he doesn't give a damn what the fans think and all that stuff. It did come off like Vince speaking through Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin basically taking the blame and storyline for Raw being a crappy show. And Noah Foster with a $5 super chat donation. Thank you for that, Noah. Do you see this as a short title reign leading to a heel turn by Roode? Who knows? I mean, we all thought Bayley and Sasha Banks were going to feud, and we all thought Bobby Roode and Chad Gable were going to feud. At this point, the tag division is just in shambles, and do we really need yet another tag team breaking up at this point? So, yeah, Bobby Roode needs the heel turn, but wouldn't shock me if he doesn't turn at this point. And I think it would be silly for them to lose the titles right back, although they might. AOPP could end up winning the titles back fairly soon. I don't know. And TJS is like, do you think Revival will get a push now? Again, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like this whole show was just putting a Band-Aid on this gigantic wound, and it's not really fixing the problems. Will the Revival be rebuilt? I don't know. Will Bobby Roode turn heel? I don't know. All these other issues with the show, will they be rectified? I don't know. Let's move on here. We had a backstage promo with Roode and Gable celebrating, and Roode said that there hasn't been much hope lately, but they were able to overcome the odds, and Chad Gable said the victory was glorious, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, AOPP is just a reference to what somebody said. I'm not sure if it was Bobby Roode or Chad Gable. I don't even know at this point. I really don't care. So next up we had a Natalya promo. She talked about how she's usually happy and everything, but she's been upset with Ruby Riot as of late because of Ruby disrespecting Jim Neidhart. And Ash says, I skipped Raw to watch Aaron's review. Well, thank you for that, Ash. I do appreciate it. We had Natalya bring up the Montreal screw job and how she's had to go through a lot to get where she's at today in WWE. She said she's proud to represent her family in WWE, and she was going to be dedicating the tables match with Ruby Riot at the pay-per-view to her father, Jim the Anvil Neidhart. She started tearing up, and she said she's going to drive Ruby's ass through the table at the pay-per-view. This was a really good promo by Natalya. This was definitely one of her better promos, in my opinion. We had Ruby come out and started making fun of Natalya for crying. She kind of sounded like Betty Boop a little bit, for those of you that get that reference. I mean, I know TGS ain't going to get it because TGS doesn't get anything that's pre-2000. But yeah, we had Ruby Riot make fun of Natalya, and then she had a table that was covered up. She revealed the table, which had a picture of Jim Neidhart on it, and the crowd was like, damn. The crowd was pretty triggered by this, I guess you could say. People maybe feeling that this was crossing the line, but there was definitely like silence in the crowd, like people legitimately feeling like this is not cool. It was a bit of an awkward moment, but some of you might say it's good heat. Some of you might say it's bad heat. I don't know what to make of it. At least they're trying to get people to care. I don't know how effective it's going to be. And for those of you that feel like Natalya is being forced into this, I mean, my feeling is that, again, you know, with the Roman Reigns leukemia stuff being used in a storyline, it's like that old school mentality where I'm sure Natalya and her family, they're like, you know what? The show must go on. We got to try to do whatever it takes to get heat. So they'll use Jim Neidhart to advance the storyline. And John is like, WWE always exploits dead people to promote the storylines, but it is like a general thought process with everyone in the wrestling community. It's not just WWE. I mean, it's really an old school mentality going back decades. There's that Roddy Piper story, and I say this a lot, where the promoter told Roddy Piper, if you're going to die in the ring, it's good for business. And that's how a lot of guys and gals were brought up in wrestling, to just say, hey, you know what? The show must go on. We got to do whatever it takes to sell tickets. So that's just the nature of the wrestling business. They're always trying to sell tickets. We had a Dolph Ziggler selfie promo, and he said he's not a good guy. He's not a bad guy. He's the guy. Oh, wait. He didn't say he's the guy. He just said he's not a good guy or a bad guy. And I guess he's a tweener. I don't know. Noah Foster said, wonder how empty the arena was tonight. Quite empty. So tonight's Raw was at the San Diego Sports Arena, and that's not a very big arena. I have been to an event at that venue, And it's fairly small. It's maybe about 12,000 seat capacity. And at least half of that building was empty. Like pretty much the entire upper deck was blacked out. Daryl with a $2.79 super chat donation. Creative should be stronger than using cheap heat. Well, I totally agree with you on that, Daryl, and thank you very much for the super chat. I do appreciate it. You would think that they would be able to come up with something more intriguing and have more layers with the characters than to just rely on, hey, we're going to go out there and insult the live crowd or whatever. We have Ashley X saying, hi, Aaron, watching you for the first time live. Read the website for news all the time. Well, thank you, Ashley, for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the video. I do want to apologize to everyone. This is not my best video. You could probably tell my voice is a little gone here, but just like wrestling, the show must go on. So we're going to keep moving on with this review. We had Drew McIntyre come out for an in-ring promo, and he's like, I don't care if you like me, you will respect me. And he said that Dolph Ziggler would get his head kicked off. This led to Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler. Pretty good match. I mean, nothing to really complain about. I figured this was going to be basically Drew getting his win back. And that's exactly what it was. It was Drew McIntyre picking up the win over a very game Dolph Ziggler. I will give him that. Ziggler did hit the zigzag for the near fall, but in the end, we had Drew McIntyre pick up the victory. And then afterwards, McIntyre, like a good heel, continues to kick the man when he's down and beat up Dolph Ziggler some more. Then we had Bayley versus Alicia Fox. So it was announced that, well, first of all, hold that thought. Ken, terminated by Google with a $2 super chat donation, says, your voice sounds fine. Keep doing you, man. Well, I appreciate that, Ken. I really do. Thank you for the super chat. So, WWE announced that due to an injury, and that's what WWE is claiming, Finn Balor has been pulled from the Mixed Match Challenge. And he will be replaced as Bayley's teammate with Apollo Crews. So there you go. How many changes has this been here? Somebody who's a trivia expert, I don't think Greg Cherry's in the chat. Somebody out there, let me know, how many substitutes have we had for this Mixed Match Challenge? This whole thing has been cursed. It feels like more than 3, John. Don with a $3 super chat donation says, Aaron, do you wish you were at another concert tonight? I wish I was in Detroit, Michigan right now, but I'm here in Portland and I'm doing business as usual. So there you go. So where was I? The Singh brothers were out there with Jinder Mahal for this singles female match. We had Apollo come out to make the save for his Mixed Match Challenge partner. A bunch of people in the chat room are saying 6 for the amount of Mixed Match Challenge lineup changes. So that is that's quite a lot. So anyways, we had all this chaos going on with Jinder Mahal, Singh brothers, Apollo Crews. Sasha Banks was out there in Bayley's corner. So just a ton of people over there doing their crap. And then we had Bayley pick up the win with the Bayley to Belly. And of course, keep in mind that the winning team of the Mixed Match Challenge will get the number 30 spot in the Royal Rumble matches in January. So there you go. Next up, we had Dean Ambrose with a backstage promo. Ambrose said, who cares about what Roman Reigns thinks of him? And he said he doesn't want to be called the lunatic fringe anymore. They proceeded to show a very long video package to hype up the match. Really did nothing to make me care about the match. And then we had we had Dean Ambrose basically just walk off without giving his thoughts on the recap package. So whatever. Then we had Elias do his usual promo. He sang a song. He said that he felt bad about hitting a child with the guitar from last week's Raw. There was a still of it on the big screen. We had Elias versus Lio Rush with Heath Slater as the referee. For those of you that missed Raw, including myself, Heath Slater defeated his former tag team partner, Rhino, to keep his job with the company. However, Baron Corbin assigned Heath a new position as a referee in WWE. So we had Heath Slater out there as the referee, Elias versus Lio Rush. Lio was bumping like crazy. He was doing his little flips and stuff. It was entertaining. Elias was about to win the match when Lashley broke up the pin. And then Lio Rush grabbed the guitar, Elias's guitar, brought it into the ring, and then Lashley nailed Elias with the guitar, and Heath Slater was there. Heath Slater did not DQ Lio Rush because he doesn't want to piss off Baron Corbin and lose his job. So you had Heath Slater basically reluctantly count the fall. And to answer TJS, I really don't care much about Lashley at this point. I do like Lio Rush. I feel like he's definitely carrying the act at this point. Kayfabe Candy Ass says this finish sucked. Elias came off as such a geek. And I agree with that. The whole thing was pretty silly. But anyways, the follow-up for this was that Michael Cole just got some breaking news. And he was reading the breaking news on his script. So, yeah, this breaking news must have broke, I don't know when, and somebody must have printed out something on a sheet of paper to give to Michael Cole. But the whole thing was just absolutely absurd. Breaking news that was pre-printed. Okay. But anyways, at the TLC pay-per-view, it will be a ladder match between Elias and Lashley with a guitar above the ring, and if you grab the guitar, you're able to use it. This is so stupid because the guy can grab the guitar from the ladder, but it doesn't end the match, right? You could just use it. So theoretically, Elias could grab the guitar, and then Lashley could take it from him and hit him with it and pin him. So it just completely just renders the whole ladder match to be irrelevant, other than just grabbing the guitar. So it's stupid. Not a fan of this. Daryl Lloyd with a $2.79 super chat donation says, shit writing. And I agree on that. I do agree with Kurapika. I mean, it could be worse. It could be a stairs match. Offman Rules says a guitar on a pole match would have been better. I agree. If you're going to do this, just make it a guitar on the pole match. Don't do a stupid ladder match. Moving on here, we had Alexa Bliss moderate her little confrontation segment between Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey, but there really wasn't a confrontation, so to speak. I mean, not like a verbal one, at least. Tony H with a $2 super chat donation. GLC, guitars, ladders, and chairs. Oh my, Cole. Thank you for that, Tony H. I appreciate it. So we had Nia Jax cut this promo saying she doesn't talk trash. She's 300 pounds, 6 feet tall, and she's Ronda Rousey's worst nightmare. She showed off her fist and said that she is going to be getting her title. What's the phrase she said exactly? Like, she started screaming, and it was like the most cringeworthy thing I've heard since her last promo from the other week. I need somebody to fill me in because I did not write it on my notes for some reason. My title. She just screamed it, and it was so annoying. Like, I don't have any desire to see this match whatsoever. WWE did not take my advice after that terrible promo from the other week. I even said Nia Jax should not be talking anymore. It's not good heat. It's go away heat. But let's just move on from this. So we had Ronda Rousey come out, and then Ember Moon came out, and then we had Ember Moon versus Tamina Snuka. Ronda knocked Nia off the apron when Nia was trying to interfere. And Ember Moon won with the Eclipse. And that was that. So, yeah, not looking forward to this match. I don't care. I would say there's pretty much zero chance of Nia Jax winning the title. Ronda should beat her fairly decisively and move on. And that will be that. So then we had Baron Corbin backstage, and again, he brought up how he'll win at TLC by forfeit. There was no Braun Strowman on this show, and basically going into the pay-per-view, the tease is that Strowman may or may not show up, and it could end up being a forfeit. No Bray Wyatt on this show, so I guess WWE is not going in that direction. We had a TLC match, Baron Corbin versus Seth Rollins with the IC title on the line. Heath Slater was brought back out as the referee. This was a pretty good match. I mean, we did get a couple big spots. We had lots of tables being used. Corbin chokeslammed Rollins through a table at one point. Rollins did a frog splash off the top rope through a table onto Corbin on the outside. Rollins had the match won. He was climbing up. Heath Slater tipped over the ladder because, again, Heath Slater is trying to keep his job. You know, he has kids after all. Heath Slater tried to help Corbin, get Corbin to climb the ladder. However, Rollins was able to make his comeback. He powerbombed Corbin through the other table, and then he super kicked Heath Slater. He climbed up the ladder, and he grabbed the IC title to retain the championship. So it is possible that WWE gave away a TLC match on Raw for two reasons. I would say it's two reasons. One, to boost the viewership. Two, because it looks like Strowman is still touch and go for the pay-per-view, and just in case, WWE wants to say, hey, we gave everyone a free TLC match, so if Strowman can only do like a quick spot at the pay-per-view, the fans won't get pissed off. I thought the match was fine. We had Dean Ambrose come out at the very end. There was a little stare down between them, and that was Raw. Better show than the last couple weeks. I will say that much, but was it a well-written show? I would say no. It was still flawed, and I still think there's a lot of work to be done. I'm not convinced we're going to see a big shakeup. It's weird because it did feel like something out of WCW from 2000. So I'm going to give the show a C+, because you did have a TLC main event that was good, and I think that helped. And you had a few segments here and there. The show did feel like it moved at a faster pace than previous weeks, so to me that's a positive. It didn't feel like it dragged as much. I wasn't a big fan of that long backstage video package that was shown for Ambrose versus Rollins, but overall, better show than the last several weeks, but that's not really saying much. I'm seeing a lot of C, C-. Caitlin gives it a C, so apparently I liked Raw better than a lot of you in the chat room. Kayfabe Candy S says 4.5 out of 10 hot goth babes. TK with a D+, John with an F, Matthew Cross with a C. So a lot of you still were not blown away by this show. It is what it is. I do think a good point was made. Like, even an average Raw today, I think the bar is set so low that we kind of just look at this show and say, hey, yeah, it's not that bad. But if we're comparing it to Raw during its heyday, obviously it's not even close to on par with some of those classic Raws. So that was Raw, and not much else to say about it. I will be back tomorrow night. Hopefully, my voice will be back. I'm like struggling here just to finish this video, so I apologize again for the video not being up to par with what my usual output is, but the show must go on, and I didn't do last week, so I definitely had to come back this week. I will be back tomorrow night for SmackDown. Hopefully, I'll be able to talk with a full voice. If not, I'll do what I can. I will be back tomorrow night. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great night, and I will see you all next time.